Hello there. It is always great to have you here with us. Today, we will take a quick trip to Nigeria and share the story of the horse, the man, and his son. This is a timeless folktale about pleasing everyone and losing yourself. Long ago, in a quiet village nestled between gentle hills and golden fields, there lived an old man named Baba. Baba was known for his calm nature, gentle wisdom, and deep love for his only son, a boy named Ayo whom he had at old age. They lived in a modest home on the outskirts of the village, with a single possession that brought them great pride: a healthy brown horse with a flowing mane and kind eyes. This horse had been in their family for many years. It was strong and obedient, and though it was not a racing stallion or a royal steed, it served them well. Baba and Ayo took good care of it, feeding it with the best grass they could find and brushing its coat daily. One morning, Baba woke his son early. "Ayo," he said, "the market day is upon us. We must take our horse and journey into town to buy food and salt for the house. We may even sell a few herbs along the way." Ayo nodded and saddled the horse. The sun had barely risen when they began their journey, father and son walking beside the horse along the dusty road. Soon, they came upon a group of women from a neighboring village. The women glanced at them and began to whisper among themselves. "Look at these two fools," one of them said, not too softly. "They have a strong horse, but neither of them is riding it. What a waste." Another woman laughed. "Maybe the horse is just for show. What's the use of owning a horse if it carries no one?" Baba overheard the remarks and scratched his beard. He turned to Ayo and said, "Perhaps they are right. You are young and your feet will tire quicker than mine. Climb onto the horse, my son." Ayo obeyed and mounted the horse. Baba walked alongside. They continued on their way, but after some distance, they passed a group of farmers resting beneath a tree. One of them pointed at Ayo riding and Baba walking and said, "Shame on that boy. Young people these days have no respect. His poor father walks in the heat while he sits like a prince." Another farmer shook his head. "If that were my son, I would teach him a lesson in humility." Baba sighed. He looked up at Ayo and said, "Come down, my son. It seems I must ride and you must walk." They switched places, and now Baba rode the horse while Ayo walked beside him. Not long after, they passed a group of travelers on their way to a nearby town. One of the travelers scowled and shouted, "How cruel! This old man sits comfortably while the boy struggles to keep up. What kind of father does that?" Another added, "Even a stranger would show more kindness than this. He should let the boy ride with him." Feeling embarrassed, Baba motioned for Ayo to climb back onto the horse. "Come," he said, "we will ride together. Surely no one will find fault with that." And so, father and son both rode the horse together. They hadn't gone far when they heard the voice of a man from his farm scream at them. "What wickedness is this?" he cried. "Do you wish to kill that poor animal? Two grown people on one horse. It's too much. Have you no mercy?" A woman from the farm also added, "It's only a matter of time before the horse collapses. Selfishness will be the end of that poor horse." Baba was now completely confused. Every choice they made seemed to invite criticism. He halted the horse, looked around, and said, "Son, maybe we are not wise enough to make the right decision. Everyone seems to know better than us." Ayo laughed quietly. "Father, it seems no matter what we do, someone will complain." Again, Baba thought for a moment. "Perhaps we should carry the horse instead." Ayo blinked. "Baba, how is that possible?" But Baba was already tying ropes to the horse's legs. "We have to satisfy everyone, Io. Let us try this. I am sure it will work." With great effort, father and son lifted the confused and very reluctant horse onto their shoulders. The beast kicked and neighed, clearly unhappy. As they struggled down the road, dripping with sweat and staggering under the weight, a large crowd gathered near a bridge just outside the town. The sight of a man and a boy carrying a horse was so ridiculous that people burst into laughter. "Have they gone mad?" someone exclaimed. "Maybe the horse rides them now," another joked. "They should be taken to the herbalist for examination," shouted someone else. In the chaos, one of the ropes snapped. The horse, startled and flailing, broke free and tumbled into the river below. Baba and Io tried to save the horse, but the current was too strong. Io jumped into the flowing river and almost drowned too. Baba reached out to him and he was rescued, but the horse was far gone. Silently, they both watched in horror as their beloved horse disappeared downstream, lost to the current. The crowd fell silent. A few people murmured awkward apologies, but the damage was done. Father and son stood by the water, exhausted and heartbroken. Baba Musa sat on a rock and wiped his face. He looked at Io and said, "My son, we have learned a hard lesson today." Io nodded slowly. "That no matter what we do, we cannot please everyone." "Yes," Baba said, "trying to please every voice along the way cost us the very thing we cherished." They walked into town with heavy steps and heavier hearts. That evening, the story of Baba, Io, and the horse spread through the town like wildfire. Some mocked them, others pitied them, but a few wise elders nodded quietly and said, "There's a lesson in that tale." And so, even without meaning to, Baba and Io became part of the village's oral tradition, a living proverb. Their story was told again and again, especially to young ones, as a reminder of the dangers of seeking approval from everyone. What have we learned from this story? If you try to please everyone, you may end up pleasing no one, including yourself. Stand by your values, use your own judgment, and stay true to your path. Once again, please like, share and subscribe to our channel. Until next time, thanks for watching.